let's come to our mat. Now I've got a couple of blocks here, so I've got a couple of flat blocks, but this can be done on a brick block, and you might prefer a brick block. We're going to come into a posture Siddhasana. So this is a wide stride seated posture. So we're going to do that on an elevated lift. So we can use a brick block, which is ideal because it makes us sit in the right place, but I thought I'd just show you with a couple of these blocks because not everyone has those, but a brick block is good. So we sit on our brick block, we take our knees wide and we align our heels with the midline of the body, and then if we feel a little bit slumped forwards, if it pulls us forwards, we take some blanket support underneath the shins, or if the shins are lifted, you take that blanket support. Okay, so hopefully, but I want you to be really comfortable because we're going to stay here for a little while. Okay, so take your time to get really comfortable. Draw the buttock flesh out and back. Bring a little light tone to the belly. Lift into the chest, and let's find our breath here now. Okay, so we pause. If you're happy to close your eyes, as this is a really great way to gather our attention inwards. And follow your breath without expectation in your breath. So in other words, we allow ourselves to tune into the breath, but we've got a relaxed attitude around the breath. We trust in the breath, that we don't have to choose when to inhale and exhale. It does that for us, and it knows how to breathe. So we can simply tune into that flow, we can tune into the temperature of the breath, and this is a really nice way to arrive in our body, because each inhalation obviously draws us into the body, but with each inhalation there's a coolness, there's a calmness. So we're immediately drawn into this cool calmness. And with each exhalation there is a softness, a warmth, and that provides a little release in the body. Now you might find, particularly in a morning practice, an early morning practice, we might feel that there's a little bit of sort of nighttime stiffness in the body still. So we can have a little movement through the body, we can have a little roll around the hips if we need to, a little shimmy through the shoulders, a little flexion through the spine. So just play into any movement there that you might need to play into, and then when you feel ready you can come to pause if you feel ready to pause. And we'll tune into this midline of the body. So this is, we're often tuning into this, aren't we, in yoga? And this is important because it's aligning ourselves with our own center. And if we can align with this midline center, the plumb midline of the body, and feel as we breathe that there's a spaciousness there, it starts to guide us into flow. And what I mean by that, it guides us into the flow of everything, the flow of the universe. We feel less kind of separate from the flow of the universe. Everything feels a little less complicated when we drop into this center. Okay, so with a little light tone in the belly and lift into the chest, with our forehead softening and our jaw release, we're going to rise our arms up. Now I want you to think Virabhadrasana number 2 here with your arms. So take your arms out wide. So it's strong, it's powerful. We've got all of that action that we'd create in our Virabhadrasana number 2, that we're toning the belly, we're lifting the chest, We're descending the shoulder blades, and we're even going to finish this off with a little turn of the head towards the right for a moment, so we can keep that little tone there in the belly. And you can imagine how this would feel if you had your legs in Virabhadrasana number 2, but here we are in Siddhasana. And then we'll turn the head back to the center, and we'll turn the head to the other side. And again, keep that tone in the body and that lift through the midline, because it will center us, it will guide us in our practice. It will ultimately free us in our practice. Okay, well done. Let's release the arms down. Feel into any movement again, so you might need to loosen up through the body, roll the shoulders, take some deep breaths. Okay, so we're going to continue with our little theme here of our standing poses, arm positions. So let's keep that tone in the belly. Let's lift up through the midline of the body. We're going to bring the right hand down to the floor, and we're going to raise the left arm up, but we're going to let ourselves sort of tip over from the pelvis. So we're going to try not to side flex. We're going to see if we can get a little bit of movement from the pelvis. So it won't be so much because we're seated. Trikonasana, arms, hand down, arm up. So lean in. So try not to bend the body like this, but lean. That's it. As if we were really tilting our pelvis in a Trikonasana, and we're going to lift up. We're going to deepen the hand into the floor, and of course you can take support. You can bring your hand onto a block if you need to. And feel into that reach. Feel that extension through the body. Feel the breath there, and let the breath land you in this. Okay, let's come back up to the center. Take a moment, feel into any movement that you might need here, and again, just let the body settle itself. It knows how to do this too. Like we don't have to make our body breathe in a particular way, we don't ever make the body release. We just allow. So what we start to develop in our yoga asana practice is a real trust in the intelligence of our physical body here. And then that starts to guide us. That element of intelligence guides us to the energy body. Okay, now let's come to the other side. Tone the belly, lift the chest. And again, there's this little sort of lean as though we were tipping our pelvis over and bringing the hand to the floor and rising up like a Trikonasana, a triangle pose that is. And as you sometimes do in your triangle pose, you may look up towards that top arm, or you may look ahead, and we breathe. Okay, wonderful. Let's come on up and release the arms. Again, any little movement to feel into that release, to drop into that flow, to guide ourselves back into our own center, to find the breath, to find freedom. Okay. We're going to change the cross of our legs now because we're probably ready for that. So remember which leg is in front whilst you extend your legs out, and give them a bit of movement, give the ankles a bit of movement, and then swap over. And again, you might find that with the swap of the cross of the legs, because almost certainly we will have gone to our most comfortable side first, that you might feel like you need a little bit of support. On this side, I feel like I need just a little elevation under my right knee, so I'm going to put a blanket there. And then we come back to the center. We tone the belly, we lift the chest. Again, feel into any movement that loosens your body. So we don't have to get uptight about the shapes that we create and that we have to fix the shape or hold the shape. What we recognize is that there is no such thing as permanent form. So this is where yoga becomes formless. So we use form. That's not that we're just sort of flopping ourselves around in our yoga practice all the time, although we do sometimes. We do use form, but it's adaptable, it's flexible, as is our attitude in our practice. So let's find the breath again. Okay. Again, we're going to take a little standing posture, arm position. So we're going to come into Pajvakonasana arms. We're going to move over towards the right. So let's take a little lean over. So we're going to bring our right hand or our right forearm down onto the thigh, and we're going to take the left arm up and over. But you can play with that if you need to. You might want to take a wide circle if it feels tight on the shoulder, but also this can create a nice extension through the back of the body so we can feel all of that stretchy tissue there. And then we tone the belly, we lift into the chest. We want to feel that there's length coming up through the front of the body as well as the side of the body, as we would get in our side angle pose, and the back of the body. And then this underside of the body here on our right side at the moment is soft, but the arm is firm, it's supporting us. Okay, well done. Let's bring it back into the center. Let's again feel into any movement and just let it be soft, let it be easeful, let it be engaging. So let's remember the purpose of all of these forms that we're creating this morning is the purpose that's always there in yoga, to integrate ourselves. Sometimes we get lost in sort of the entertainment aspect of yoga, that we do something because it entertains us for a while. But that's okay, that we're enjoying our practice. But it's not the goal here. It is engagement, so we can be engaged through forms of entertaining ourselves, but we want to let that be a means to the purpose. Okay, let's move to the other side. So again, we're going to take this lean over. We're going to bring our forearm down now onto the left thigh. We're going to take the top arm up and over, breathe. And because we've practiced yoga before and we've practiced these postures that I'm taking these arm positions from, we have a little body memory of that. We can feel the dynamics of that. And it's not that we're trying to pick up an actual Pajvakonasana here, but we are, of course, dropping into our current experience, but we can feel what we would be getting from that, how the lower half of the body would be strong and steady as we extend through like this, as we breathe through this. Okay, well done. Come back up. Have a little bit of movement. Find the breath. We start to realize in these actions just how strong some of these upper body elements of our standing poses are. We often think it's all about the legs, but we're getting deep extensions in the body here. Okay, if you need to change the cross of your legs, we're going to do one more standing posture, arm position here. You can change the cross of your legs if you're happy to go with it. As we are, you can go with it. So, okay, so this is a reverse warrior. We'll go towards the right side again. So we would normally slide our hand down our back leg, the front knee would be bent, and then we'd take that top arm up and over. So we can feel this. This time we've got that side flexion. Remember when we came into our Trikonasana arms, we were looking to keep the body equal through both sides. This time we can really round the body into it. Belly is toned, chest is lifted. And again, trust in the breath. It's supported you your whole life. So I think we can trust in that. Okay, well done. Belly toned as you come up so you feel supported. Find the breath once more and then take a little lean over to the other side. And again, we can feel this. It's not just a leaning over to this side, but it's a sort of leaning away from this side. If we were in our reverse warrior, we would feel that energetic of pulling away from the right side here. So we can even deepen our right shin in towards the floor to get that sense of pulling away. Okay, wonderful. Let's bring ourselves up, have a little bit of movement again. Find your breath. Let your breath find you. And then let's release our legs. Let's give them a little bit of movement. Give the ankles a little bit of movement, the knees a little bit of movement. Maybe there's a little pat down, a little rub down. And then we're going to come into a downward facing dog. So let's come onto our hands and knees. And here on our hands and knees, we can just simply place our hands shoulder width apart, spread the fingers. Start in this position. There's a difference between starting here, as I often see people going to start there from downward facing dog, and starting here. So there's an angle to the arms, so our length on our mat is long. Feel into any movement here. Spread the fingers, roll around, play into it, but we're not just rolling around again for the entertainment aspect of it, but we're rolling around to integrate with our experience, to feel, to breathe through it, to give to it. And then when you're ready, we're going to lift ourselves up. We're going to rise up through the sitting bones. So if we lift our heels to start with, we'll get that good tilt of the pelvis, even bending the knees to really get a clean tilt of the pelvis. And then deepening the hands into the floor, we can rise up through the body. The heels might descend, but they're not being pushed. They descend through the release through the back of the legs, through the extension up through the torso, and of course through our own anatomy if our ankles allow that. So if the interaction of the talus and the tibia bones allow that, basically. So we breathe here, we give to this. Okay, now we're going to come out by walking forwards, or if you're feeling very lively, you're welcome to step or jump forwards if you like, but I'm going to walk forwards. I think it's still a little bit early for that. We're going to have our feet hip width apart. We're going to bend the knees, and we're going to let the body just hang over the thighs there. So we've got a little bit of contact between our rib cage and our thighs. We can hold our elbows. We can have a little sway of our hips from side to side, a little sway through the body. Let the breath flow. Okay. And then in your own time from here, we're going to bring ourselves up. So we'll place our hands to our thighs. We'll reach the chest forwards as we extend the arms. We'll take a moment to find the breath here, and then we'll press through the feet and up we come. Well done. Let's turn ourselves to the front, and we're going to come to stand in Tadasana. We might need a brick-shaped block, ideally, at some point. Not right now, but we can just make sure we've got one of those available. Okay. Maybe you can guess where we're going with this now. We're going to go through some of those standing postures that we just did the arm positions for. So we're going to take a wide, generous stride here on our mat. We're going to find the breath. So how is that, to find your breath? It's not to take control of it. It's just to be in presence with it, to give to it. Okay, let's turn our Left toes in, take the heel out so you're really getting this nice angle to the foot, so we get a little internal rotation of that back leg. Turn the right foot and leg out, heel to instep alignment here, deepening the feet into the floor, rising up through the midline of the body, toning the belly, lifting the chest. And we're going to bend our front knee and we're going to extend that leg. So we're coming down into a Virabhadrasana number 2, Dwi, a warrior 2 position. So we can play with this movement here. And then we come to land ourselves with the thigh towards a right angle here. The body nice and upright. We'll take our arms up to start with because that's a really nice way to train the body to be up and not to lean. And then we'll take our arms out wide, shoulder blades down the back, reach into the fingertips. If you're comfortable in the neck, you can look over your right hand, but if not, just look forwards in the direction of your chest. I'm sure there's nothing overly exciting in the direction of your right hand. Just feel into this, breathe into this, land in this, stay aligned to this midline. Even whilst the body is reaching out, there is also a dropping in. This is what we call Bhairavi Mudra. An internal focus with an external gaze. Okay, let's inhale and lift up and we'll release the arms down. We're going to take the feet forwards. We're going to take a breath. Obviously you can step your feet back in together anytime you need to, but then when you're ready, let's turn the right toes in, lift up the heel, take the heel back. Let's turn the left foot and leg out so we can have this heel to instep alignment. Again, there's a little internal rotation of that back leg. The toes spread, the belly tones, the chest lifts. And again, we'll raise our arms up. We can bend that front knee and we can play into this. And then as we extend through that thigh, and then we land towards this right angle, knee above its own ankle. We can bring our arms down, shoulder blades sliding down the back, belly toned, chest lifted. And again, you're welcome to look over that lead hand or keep your gaze forwards. You can open up your wings a little bit by taking the hands back behind you. So we'll feel that stronger engagement through the shoulder blades and we'll breathe. Okay, let's release the arms down. Let's push through that front foot as we come up, as we find the breath, as we turn the feet to the front, as we step ourselves back in towards each other, the feet, and we can have a little shake out, a little shimmy out, a little roll of the shoulders perhaps. Again, you're tuning into your body, moving in any way that the body guides you to move. Okay, let's go wide again. Just take a moment. Notice if there is any element of anticipation of which of those standing poses is coming next. And just let it go. Because this is where we are now. That's a future that doesn't actually exist at this moment in time. Okay, left toes in, lift up the heel and extend the heel out so we get that good turn. Right foot and leg out, again a heel to instep, alignment, Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. We're coming through now. So we're going to raise up our lead arm, so right arm lifted, belly toned, chest lifted, deepen the feet into the floor, find the breath here and give to it. Okay, now let's take a little hinge from the hip joint. So the whole of the pelvis is going to tip over the front thigh, over our right thigh. So we get that deepening of the crease at the hip. We're going to bring our hand down to our shin, or this is where you might need a block to bring your hand onto if you prefer. Okay, I'd like you to have some kind of contact with the hand that enables you to get a little bit of purchase to guide length through the body. So in other words, not this position, because that makes us tight in the lower back because we grip around those lower back muscles to support us. But if we've got our hand on our shin or a block, we can lift without the grip. Breathe. And again, you're welcome to move the body in any way. If these arm positions aren't suitable for you, you can always bring your hand down onto your hip or rest your hand to your sacrum, the back of the pelvis. Okay, let's bend that front knee and push into the foot and inhale and come up. Turn the feet to the front, have a little wiggle out, a little bounce out maybe, so we can free the lower back, so we can have a little sway around, a little play around, or even step the feet back together. And then again, we'll come to this from our wide angle. We'll turn our right toes in, take the heel out, turn the left foot and leg out. We know this alignment, and this is the same alignment. Sometimes our stride is wider for other postures that are standing postures facing towards the long side of the mat, heel to instep. Sometimes we take a deliberate, slightly different position, but this is the sort of bog standard, we can call it, position. Okay, let's raise up our lead arm. Okay, left arm lifted. Let's find that length here. So this is a way of training this side of the body to stay long and open. Inhale. And exhale, tip, tilt. Again, brick or shin or ankle, depending, or even floor. If you've got that movement to come down to the floor, you're welcome to come down to the floor. I always like a little bit more elevation, even though I can bring my hand to the floor, because I like the space that gives. You can raise the top arm up. You can extend through the chest. You can breathe. And again, you feel into any movement. Sometimes we'll need to move through this top arm, loosening up or rolling it around. Sometimes we'll need to bend that front knee and re-extend. But we're always being guided to this inner stillness. And no matter what's going on the outside, whilst we're in the world, we're also in our center, this Bhairavi Mudra. Okay, let's bend that front knee. We can bring the top arm down, and that will help draw the body up. We push through that front foot and we come up and we turn the feet to the front. We're going to step our feet back together for a moment so we can have a little bit of space before we come to our next wide stride posture. So feet can be about hip width apart. We'll come to Tadasana and we can re-establish our relationship with our center here. We can give to this. Let the breath flow. And just enjoy this little moment of stillness here. Okay, another wide stride. Pajvakonasana. Okay, side angle pose. Left toes in, heel out, right foot and leg out. Again, just have a double check. Even if some of you have racked up thousands of practices of this posture, but still check. Because we want to feel that we are really consciously placing our body all the time. There's care in that. There's a mindfulness in our practice. Okay, we deepen into the feet to rise up through the body. We're going to bend our front knee, and again, like our Virabhadrasana 2, we can move through this a few times to tease out the inner thighs and groin area, and then landing that knee above its own ankle. We're going to take this into Parsvakonasana. So let's lift up into the body, tone the belly, lift the chest, and then feed the body over towards this right leg. Land your forearm. We can have palm up. So that just creates a little extra external rotation there in that arm, opening the chest. And then we'll take that top arm over to complete that side angle so we can feel this reach. You can look up, you can look in towards the armpit, or you can look forward. You can feel into that. And again, there's still room for a little bit of play, a little bit of movement, a little bit of teasing out of the body, particularly in the morning when we feel a little stiffer in our bodies. The breath flows. Okay, we're going to take this directly into our reverse warrior now. So let's bring that top arm back. Let's press that front hand into the thigh to push the body up. Bring the hand down and raise that top arm up. It can be straight up or it can even come back over. And let's feel this opening here. So the thigh extends forwards, the body pulls away, the breath flows. Okay, let's bring it back up. Welcome to your burning thigh. And then let's push through that front foot. Inhale and come up. Release the arms, turn the feet to the front. We'll take a little step in before we do the B side. And we'll pause. Okay, that's it. Breathe. Any movement you need. So it might be that actually you don't need any. So that is not just an invitation to start moving your body. It's an invitation to start listening to your body and then responding. Notice how it feels to watch the breath and heart rate settling. Okay, wide stride again. Turn the right toes in, take the heel out, left foot and leg out. Again, you can check your alignment as an act of awareness, as an act of quiet, refined attention, not as an act of uptightness, okay? So notice the difference, how we can feel it. We can spread our toes and we can drop into that richness of this conscious placement of the body. Okay, so once again, we're going to bend that front knee and we can do this a few times. And again, just feeling that we're teasing out the groin area, we're teasing out the inner thighs, and then we're going to fold over so we can lift and lengthen so we can get this length into the body and then bring the forearm onto the thigh, palm up, steady through the legs here. We can feel that we've got this quality of strong support. Top arm comes up and over. If it feels like it gets caught around the shoulder, swing your arm forward so we can negotiate around the shoulder joint. And then feel that length. It's side angle, so we're feeling the side angle from the foot to the fingertips. We're breathing. And enjoy the richness of really getting into your body, really meeting it. Okay, again, we're going to bring that top arm down. We're going to bring our hand onto the thigh. So we're going to keep that right angle or right angle-ish position with that front leg. I'm going to lean back, tone the belly, Lift the chest. Again, you might bring that top arm back and over, and then we feel this opening here. Okay, wonderful. Let's bring it back up, but we're going to fold all the way back to this first side because we're going to rotate our body, lift up the back heel, bring our hands down to shoulder width apart, and we're going to take a good, generous step back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, and breathe. Okay, now let's feel this. It's always interesting to me how when we come out of a strong pose, there can be a more restful quality to downward facing dog, but maybe only briefly. But let's just feel into the richness of this. Really scan your body. Not just an external scan, but it's an internal scan. We're feeling through the body, not just over the body. So, be determined that our awareness never remains just surface level. We're always looking for depth. We're always looking to reach in. Okay, well done. Let's bring ourselves down onto our hands and knees. Take the feet back. Feel that release through the soles of the feet, just the simple act of taking the weight off the soles of our feet can then be a rich experience of Laya Yoga dissolving. And the calves and the knees and the thighs, and then we'll just walk ourselves back, and if you need a little bit of support between buttocks and heels, take a block or folded blanket, pop something underneath your ankles if you need to. Just feel into what you need, or take an alternative posture if you need to. And give to your breath. And that's the joy of a yoga practice at home, is that we can really give to our breath if we want to. We don't have to have any self-consciousness around how we breathe or the sound that we make. We can really, if we want to, whatever we want to do. Okay, we're just going to take ourselves into a brief child pose. So walk your hands forwards, tilt the pelvis, come down if you want to support with a block. You can keep that support between buttocks and heels. You can either extend your arms forwards or bring your arms back, whatever you feel you need to do in this moment. That's it. Breath flows. Now, I'm sure some of you would love to remain in child pose for longer, and you're welcome to. But we are going to bring ourselves up because it's already time for us to come into Shavasana. I feel sad about that. I'd like to carry on with you guys. But we're going to come down, and as always, if there's any little movements you feel like you need to make on your back before we come down or before you lay yourselves out for Shavasana, then go ahead. So you might, for instance, have a little hug of the knees into the chest and a little roll around, or you might let the knees descend from side to side like this, and then we can lay ourselves down, taking any support underneath the head that we might need. If the head tips back, definitely take support, but maybe you like a little bit of support arms are either coming a little away from the body, so make sure they don't pin against the body. So they come a little bit out to the side like this, or you rest your hands there on your body. Legs ideally extended. You can be in this position with the feet on the floor, but even though it feels very soft here, there is a little bit of effort required. So I recommend, if you've got a bolster or you've certainly got pillows at home, you can pop those underneath your legs if you need to release any tightness in the lower back. But you are welcome to be in this position too. Okay, so we lay ourselves down, and once we've laid ourselves down, after any movement that we've needed to make to feel that the body is ready to be still. So that's important, isn't it? If we come into Shavasana and there's a restlessness there, then we can't fully meet the energy of this yoga pose. So we attend to any restlessness first, and then we come into rest. So to lay ourselves in Shavasana is to consciously choose rest. Even for a short period of time, the fact that there is a conscious choice in this rest state makes the rest more profound and deeper. Sometimes our rest is a kind of checking out, but here it's anything but checking out. It's a clear, vibrant, aware state of rest. We actually get to enjoy our rest here. So just feel into that soft and natural flow of your breath. Let it invite you into that flow. So many of you will need to come out of this now, but you are welcome to stay in Shavasana as you wish. But we're going to take a deep breath, and as we take that breath, we can slowly bend our knees and place our feet to the floor, feeling into the release of the exhalation, adjusting the pelvis if we need to so the lower back is comfortable. And then you may take a little roll onto your right side and pause there. And if you're happy to roll to your other side as well, you can then roll over onto your left side and pause there. And then in your own time, you can slowly bring yourselves up from your side. Come to a comfortable seated posture, any seat. We'll bring our hands to the heart center, and we're going to close our practice with a single Om together. So let's take a deep inhalation to prepare. Thank you all very much. Namaste, Namovaha. Reverence to you all. Wonderful to spend 45 minutes with you this morning. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you all soon. Lots of love. Bye.